Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael, of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, we do not intend for it to be long. Nonetheless, brothers and sisters, we do intend for it to be brought out to our people, hoping and praying that everybody is well and will be better. Shalom to the people in the chat. Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Shalom, my elders. We want to sit there and, for edification purposes, brothers and sisters, bring this out to something regarding the people, regarding a situation that has been discussed, and what can we learn and ascertain in this particular matter, if we will. All right. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. Not too long ago, brothers and sisters, in this city, in New York, if you will, there was, brothers and sisters, believe it or not, an earthquake. Now, that is not a very, quote, common thing for New York. You understand? Nonetheless, brothers and sisters, it did happen. I happened to witness it myself. I felt it. And I want to say I'm thankful to the Most High that I survived it. Now, this is not to make light of anything, brothers and sisters, but this wasn't one of those, say, kind of earthquakes that other places might be used to getting and experiencing. But we definitely want to sit there and see where the hand of the Most High is in a particular matter. This is on the platforms, More Than Yeshaya Torah Lessons, More Than Yeshaya History Lessons, brothers and sisters, in the Facebook page, Yeshaya Author Danite. Shalom, my lady, Sarai Yisrael. Shalom, my brother, Yirmiyahu Yisrael. And shalom, elder, Azania Yahuda. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, we ask you to please type in the number 4. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, we ask you to type in the number 4. Thank you for that. Let us, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, pull up the PowerPoint and get into this particular subject matter, if we will. Shalom, giving honor to the Most High. The Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the one who sees all and is not seen, the one who judges all and is not judged. We come in his name alone as we present this matter. Shalom. Recently, not too long ago, brothers and sisters, my lady and I was listening to music that was being played on the internet. Now, some people may say the holy name of the Most High as Yahweh, Yahovah, Yahuwah, Yahuwah, Yahweh, and the Most High will let us know what it is in the future, when and if it be his will for us to, in this generation, to even know. But he stated in Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 7, that he will let Israel know his name. Until then, or how to pronounce, if we may say, until then, there is nothing wrong with speaking of the Most High in this. Now, this is not to shame anyone, but to give glory to the Most High. What is it, brothers and sisters, when it is generally taught and stated, or as some post, songs in the name of Yod He Wah He, and then it is Mashiach this and Mashiach that. Brothers and sisters, Mashiach in the Hebrew means anointed. In the word Messiah, brothers and sisters, is an English transliteration of such. There never was in Israelite culture a debate on who the anointed one was. And in Israelite culture, there was 2, if not 3, we want to say, aspects of one being anointed. The king, the prophets, the priests. I state again, the king, the prophets, and the priests. Elisha the prophet was anointed. Jehu, king of Israel, was anointed. Saul, king of Israel, was anointed. Solomon, king of Israel, was anointed. Now, When we say certain things like that, what are we saying in some people's understanding is that people like Saul, Solomon, Jehu, and Elisha would be, in English transliterated terms, a Messiah. And then you may have some listening that might say, no, he could have been a Messiah because he wasn't perfect. Because one doesn't understand, maybe, and no disrespect, the meaning of the words that we're speaking of, brothers and sisters. And because Israel was never in Messiah worship, it was never a matter for us to sit there and go toe-to-toe about. But more so, to use the term, if you will, 10 toes down and being able to speak about the glory, the kabod, the honor, the hadara that is due unto Ha'el Elyon, the Most High God. When Elijah and Elisha met each other, and he anointed Elisha, and he said to Elijah, let me go first and kiss my mother and my father, in that I may not see them again in the mission that I'm going to be given and was placed upon me. Elijah the prophet said to him, in so many words, I'm not going to stop you. So in that particular case, if the prophet of the Most High is not going to stop brothers and sisters, one, and giving honor to his or her own mother, why do we read about, in order to respect who some say is a Messiah in some people's eyes, you have to hate your father, your mother, your brothers and sisters in your own life also? When we read in certain other kinds of texts, brothers and sisters, why is there a conflict among the Israelite community between what you call Old Testament based and that which is not Old Testament based? What book did Joshua the prophet have when he went into the land of Canaan? What book was Israel told, brothers and sisters, to look to have success, brothers and sisters? The only doctrine that Israel was given in the time of Moses and Joshua was the Torah. So now when we go in Isaiah, and it says in Isaiah 34:16, seek ye out the book of Yah and read. Don't disrespect to any part of the said Old Testament. Isaiah is not saying look to Ezra, the scribe's book. He's not saying look to the book of Lamentations, which came after his time. So any book that Isaiah chapter 34 verse 16 is talking about, when it says look for the book of Yah and read it, is the same book that Josiah, after Isaiah found. They found, as the brother typed in there, the Torah. And these are things that we want to point out, brothers and sisters, in this particular case. Torah, Nebe'im Ketubim, the law. Torah, Nebe'im, prophets. Ketubim, writings. The Tanakh. Tau, Nun, Kaf. How you get the acronym of Tanakh. Brothers and sisters, we want to emphasize on this for edification purposes. What brought the spirit in light of this and giving honor to the Most High? Me and my lady are listening to songs thinking you're going to sing to the Most High, and all of a sudden, whoa, pause, stop, rewind, and refocus. That's not what your title stated on the YouTube channel, brother. Sister, you didn't sit there and state that you're coming in the name of another one. See, as Israel being so-called Old Testament based, if we don't speak about Eleazar and Itamar, the nephews of the high prophet Moses, we don't lose sleep. No disrespect. If we don't speak about Zadok, who anointed the great King Solomon, every Shabbat or every month, no disrespect, we do not lose any sleep. What are we saying, brothers and sisters, in this particular case? The book that Israel is judged by is not how many prophecies you know, not how much Hebrew you know, but how much obedience you give to the laws of the Most High. We want Elohim, our God, to sit there and attend to our words. And what does Solomon state? He who turns his ear from hearing the law, even his prayers an abomination. Not that if you sin, your prayers an abomination, but I don't want to sit there and hear that. So by calling it old, what have you done? Brothers and sisters, we ask this in due respect. There is, or is there then, any Hebrew word for Bible? We can go so far to say, if ingredients that you see on the package and you know you're a Hebrew man or woman, and you can't translate those things to Hebrew, maybe we shouldn't eat it as such. You look at the ingredients on oatmeal, you look at the ingredients on bread, you look at the ingredients in different things. If maybe, not saying it must be, if you cannot sit there and translate the ingredients of your food to your language, how beneficial it can be to you is a question we can ask. Brothers and sisters, since there is no set Hebrew word for Bible, and we already know where the word Tanakh comes from, somebody did something. You put your children in the school, they come out different than when you let them go. Believe that. Well, brothers and sisters, when the nations got a hold of our records, John Harkin is teaching the children of Esau, and then they went into Europe with our records. By the time the King James Version comes back to us, something happened that wasn't there prior to 70 AD. Between 70 AD and 1619 AD, something happened with that book. According to Zahavi, in his book, Handbook of the World's Religions, the Christians were not long in adding the Gospels and the epistles alongside the law and the prophets to make what we call the Bible of today. Pope Pius II, 405 AD, commissioned what you call the Old Testament and the New Testament to be put together. The completion of the New Testament came to be in the year 327 AD. It was not put along with the said Old Testament to 405 AD and what they call the Latin Vulgate Bible, brothers and sisters. These are things, so now by the time we get into, sadly, the Atlantic slave trade and us being brought here and then being denied the ability to read, then when we had the ability to read, it came to us back the way that it did not leave us, brothers and sisters. In the said Old Testament, if we will, brothers and sisters, we read, when we get into it, that the Philistines stole the Ark of the Covenant. By the time the children of Israel get the Ark of the Covenant back, the Philistines have put what they call the 5 lords of the Philistines, mice gods, M-I-C-E, attached to it. Where they had, say, the god of Ekron, the god of Ashdod, the god of Gaza, and all of these different things attached to the Ark of the Covenant. So just as in the time of the prophet Eli, or the priest Eli, when the Ark of the Covenant was stolen, by the time the Ark of the Covenant came back, the Philistines handed it back in a way it was not stolen. Same with our book. When the nations got it and gave it back to us, they didn't give it back to us the same way, brothers and sisters, that they took it. They added something to it. And so these are things we can bring out for reference purposes. When you let your children go to these schools, they put something in their head, especially these days, that you didn't leave out with. Hold on. I don't really talk too much about my little one, but I remember online for sure. But I remember one time she came in, said, for the lack of a better term, that she had a penis. I don't know if I've explained this online. I don't think I ever did. To show you what happens in certain situations. The child is born and still is and never had any idea to not be female. But came in at 6 in the 1st grade and told her mother, Mommy, I have a penis. And I happened to be there and hear that. What did her mom do? Take her into the room. Didn't want to embarrass her in front of the male parent, me, and told her, I need to see what you're talking about. Because when you was born in Harlem Hospital, you wasn't born with both parts. And I know because I watched you just the other day, there's nothing confused about this. So I need you to show me what you're talking about. Well, what ended up happening was my daughter meant it as a joke, but didn't even know at that time what a penis was. She heard a male teacher talk about it to a nephew of his who happened to be a student in the school, and she decided to use it as a joke to go home and state, not realizing what she was talking about. I say that not to shame my daughter, not to shame the man who was talking to his biological nephew, and my daughter just happened to walk by and hear it. I state that to state just to show how somebody can sit there and hear something and then might run off with it. Using that say as an example. So brothers and sisters, when we get into this kind of subject matter, how does that tie into this? What in the world really is Haarp? As you might see in there, Yah or Haarp, who is in control? Next slide. Thank you for that. Shalom. Giving honor to the creator of heaven and earth. This presentation is brought to you by Danitepublications. Recently, there was an earthquake in New York and other areas, and some have stated it was Haarp. While Haarp is man-made and does exist, it is younger than myself and many others we know. Some have stated that Haarp has been used in wars and in matters of affected weather when it is in truth a program for studying weather, not control it. We will in this presentation explain that Haarp was created in the 1990s, could not be responsible for the earthquakes which happened in the 1980s. We hope and pray that everyone is well and will be better. We can be reached at 908-587-4841. 908-587-4841. I'm going to, brothers and sisters, take out time to read about Haarp. High Frequency Actual Oral Research Program. We'll be conducting a research campaign November 4th through 7th to study artificial air glow and very low frequency, extremely low frequency radio waves. The primary goal of this research campaign are to better understand the mechanisms in the ionosphere, which is the same as the troposphere, that produce optical emissions, and to investigate if certain types of waves in the ionosphere, which is the same as the troposphere, can amplify very low frequency waves. Additional experiments seek to determine if satellites can use plasma waves in the ionosphere, which is the same as the troposphere, which is the sphere right above us as humans, for collision detection and avoidance. Brothers and sisters, it is, and I want to show this in real time if I may. I normally don't go and show the camera thing, but I'm going to this time, right? It is for those who are able to sit there and see, as pointed out here, if you can, and I'll sit there and send a link later on, brothers and sisters, for those who are interested, right? It is, brothers and sisters, a program, a research program. Brothers and sisters, it is not, excuse me, in light of that, something that is based upon facts. You know how people were saying that 5G waves is going to cause the spread of the thing with C-19? No, it didn't. Brothers and sisters. So just like a little child can sit there and hear something that they don't know nothing about and run with it, so do people who, no disrespect intended, may have now researched something and decided to run with it. Brothers and sisters, it was created in 1990 and made official in 1993. And it is based in Alaska, brothers and sisters, for those who are interested in that particular matter. Some have stated that it caused earthquakes and snowstorms and all of this kind of stuff. It's Haarp. But we want to show that there's no way in the world that that could possibly be. If it was, as pointed out, created in the 1990s, how do we have an earthquake in 1884, an earthquake in 1895, pardon me, an earthquake in 1895, and an earthquake in 1988? I remember that earthquake that came to New York in 1988. Like yesterday, that earthquake that wound up hitting New York in 1988 was on a so-called Friday. Israelites was talking about that earthquake that wound up hitting Manhattan and Brooklyn, for those who know New York City, was talking about that Shabbat in the camp. You understand? So these are things that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. Thank you for that, my lady, for typing that in there, the link. So, yeah, if these things are created by man, we already know what man does. When he tries to sit there and make an animal that's supposed to have 4 legs and winds up having 5. That's what man does. They mess things up. You understand? So let's go into the scriptures itself and see what we can ascertain and gain in this particular matter. Psalms chapter 83, verse 6. For they have consulted together with one consent. Against you do they make a covenant. Let's go over some Hebrew, if we will, with the laser pointer. Remember, Hebrew's read from right to left. Ki no adzu leb yakdao eleka berit yak, pardon me, berit yik ro tu. Brothers and sisters, let's look at the highlighter. You see this word right there, berit? It means covenant or contract. That in the yellow there, all right? At the highlighter. We're going to use a different color highlighter. And we want to use the word yakdao together so we can gain some vocabulary. So you want to know how to say together? It's the word yakdao that you see there with the highlighter thing on in black there. For they have consulted together. Brothers and sisters, let's look at this here. Laser pointer. Ki, because. No adzu, from the Hebrew word like etza, which means like an advisor. All right? No adzu, no adz, to take counsel together, to be in alliance one with another. Leib yakdao, one consent, one heart, one thought. Eleka, against you, concerning you. Berit, a covenant or contract. Yik rotu. Yik rotu, from the Hebrew root word karat. Concerning you, do they make a covenant? Do they forge a covenant? Who are these nations in part that make this kind of, say, covenant? Let's look and see what we can ascertain. What are we looking at here, brothers and sisters? And I'm going to ask, brothers and sisters, in this particular case, which is not part of the typed in presentation. Oh, that's all good. All right, family. Let's go, if we will, to Leviticus chapter 20, if we will, brothers and sisters. So we can sit there and see what we're talking about for reference purposes. If somebody can type in where we're reading at. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 1. And Yah spoke unto Moses, saying, Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that gives any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. And I will set my face against that man, and I will cut him off from among his people, because he hath given of his seed unto Molech, to defile my sanctuary, and to profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do in any ways hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth of his seed unto Molech, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him, to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people. Do you know what that is in that picture there, brothers and sisters? There's a movie that's out now called Late Night with the Devil. It's in theaters right now. And in it, they talk about the people who go to what they call Bohemian Grove. They just say it as Grove. And in it, they talk about their wickedness and their sexuality, orgies, which has to be against the laws of the Most High God. Because there's two genders in this earth, male and female. So anything referred to as a three-party sexual activity must include, sadly and disgusting way, some kind of homosexuality, which is against the laws of the Most High. So when we read right here in Leviticus about the people giving of their seed unto Molech, that's what they do, whether it's mock worship, mock sacrifice or not. Their point and their practices and their thoughts is to revive that old wicked culture. So why do you think they call it the Old Testament? Brothers and sisters, the book that condemns that kind of thing. Remember that guy No Light, and people thought he was being funny and comical and shortening up the Bible? But then they didn't think it was funny when the man sat there and gave him X amount of thousands of dollars that his father left him, talking about he going to fix his credit, got so stressed out and committed suicide. Somebody gave that thief, Polite No Light, X amount of thousands of dollars that his father left him. And when he found out that the guy, Polite No Light, was a fake, he wound up committing suicide. Guess it wasn't funny after that then, huh? When he shot up the book that said you should not defraud your neighbor. Why do you think they make it illegal to even have a Bible inside of a public school? Outside of maybe the school's library. Why do you think UCLA in California bans certain kinds of studies to be done? Brothers and sisters, they go to these things over in the north of San Francisco in the summertime and do these rituals. So when we go back here in the book of Psalms, when it says, for they have consulted together with one consent, what are they making plans of in those kind of things? Brothers and sisters, let's continue in this manner. Psalms 18, whether verse 7 or verse 8. Then the earth did shake and quake. The foundations also of the mountains did tremble. They were shaken because he was wroth. So let's look, brothers and sisters, in this. Watik ash, watir ash, ha'aretz, umos de harim, yir gazu, wayit ga'ashu, ki, Kara lo. Now, this lo, brothers and sisters, means to him or of him. It's not the lo there, meaning in a matter of saying no or not. All right, just want to point that out. Then the earth did shake and quake. The foundations also of the mountains did tremble. The foundations of the mountains. The mountains sit on the earth. We're going to speak on what does the earth sit on. For those who are interested, stay tuned. They were shaken because he was wroth. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to take out the time in real time, hopefully everybody as well, and will be better, right? I'm going to take out the time in real time and pull this up if I may. All right. Thank you for that, family. Feel free to comment inside of the chat, if you will, brothers and sisters. All right. Go and pull this up, if we will. Right. In this particular case. Copy. Bring that down. Go over here. Home. New slide, if we will. Paste. Cut. Thank you for the patience with that, family. Brothers and sisters, let's look at this. When it says, then the earth did shake and quake. The foundations also of the mountains did tremble. They were shaken because he was wroth. Let's look, family. This is the only place on earth where the top of the mountain looks as it does there. Do you know where that's at? Modern Saudi Arabia. Do you know in the Bible that's where the commandments was given? When you read in Exodus chapter 19 and Exodus chapter 20. Do you know that most of the wandering of Israel in the wilderness is in modern day Saudi Arabia and not in the Sinai Peninsula itself? So when it says, brothers and sisters, if we can go to Exodus chapter 19, right? And see what it says in this particular case. So we can gain understanding of what we're talking about for reference purposes. Right? It says this. In the third month, when the children of Israel were come forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day they came into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come into the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Yisrael camped before the mount. And Moshe went up to Elohim, and Yah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus you shall say unto the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I have did unto the Egyptians, how I have brought you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, and you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me, above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel. Now let's go to verse 18. Exodus chapter 19, verse 18. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because Yah descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. So, brothers and sisters, who causes the mount to quake that you can see in archaeology to this day, 2024? They refer to it now as Mount Yehoram, where the only mountain in the world where the top of it is as if it was burnt in a furnace. See how they try to sit there and fit somebody in a new book? His feet was like that, burnt in a furnace. We already know the people in those times were people of color. We already, not disrespect intended, graduated from saying the people were of color. That we know. Now, this people of color, the black man, woman, and child, get righteous. We had to sit there for some time, sit there and erase the whitewashing, but now let's get the stubborn heart erased and replaced with a heart of flesh. All my black brothers and sisters. We ain't got to sit there and argue about the catacombs and what they found that the president of Russia is up there. Now I release it to you. We've been talking about that since the VHS days. You understand? But it may still help some people. But what we never want to forget is what we just read in Exodus. If you keep my law, you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. So, brothers and sisters, these are things we care to bring out and point out for reference purposes. All right? Again, so now when we go back into Psalms, and it says that it was shaken, that's the work of the Most High. Haarp can't do that. Again, Haarp is simply a research program. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. This is the result of what happened regarding an earthquake. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 8. Then the earth did shake and quake. The foundations of heaven did tremble. They were shaken because he was wroth. Brothers and sisters, we don't want problems with the one who can create that. We don't want problems, brothers and sisters, with the Most High God. So how do we avoid those kind of things? First off, to obey Yah is the most important thing. Now, this is not saying, brothers and sisters, that the man speaking to you live is the best role model. I'm not going to even portray myself as that. David stated about the Most High forgiving him that he would teach sinners the ways of the Most High. So people can come back unto Yah, the creator, the maker of heaven and earth. You understand? Any questions, comments, feel free to put it into the chat. Thank you for that, family. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 13, so we can gain understanding. Therefore, I will make the heavens to tremble, and the earth shall be shaken out of her place, for the wrath of Yah of hosts, and for the day of his fierce anger. What do we read? Therefore, I will make the heavens to tremble, and the earth shall be shaken out of her place. One thing we want to point out, brothers and sisters, is that earth is treated in Hebraic culture in a feminine principle. So when we read, we want to show with a different color, if we will, right? Right here, mim kwomah, which you're seeing being circled, that hey, with the dagesh or so, that dot you see in it, shows it to be the feminine principle. Makwom means place. Mekwomi means my place. Mekwomo, his place. Mekwomah, her place. So now when we read, brothers and sisters, about the earth being shaken out of her place, these are things that we're talking about for reference purposes. Two things to point out. Israel. We can cite the so-called Old Testament about earthquakes coming into this earth. It has nothing to do with Jesus Christ coming again. It is the sign of the times, brothers and sisters. While not trying to play prophet, these prophecies was already stated. For the wrath of Yah of hosts, and for the day of his fierce anger. Let's continue, brothers and sisters, in this. This is part of what happens in an earthquake, family. We hope and pray that nobody gets hurt when the Most High sends his word forth in this. Life and death come from the Most High. And the Most High doesn't want us to rejoice over the death of anyone. He'd rather you repent from your wrong as opposed to hoping somebody falls in their wrong. What did he tell Solomon? Because you did not ask for the life of your enemies, but you asked for wisdom and understanding. So just because you have the ability, as we do as Israel, as the prophet Moses said, whensoever we call upon Yah, he's near unto us. It's not that the Most High doesn't know what we want, but give us the serenity and wisdom and understanding on how to deal with such. Give us the strength. Give me the courage you commanded me to have. That's not throwing something back in the Most High's face. That's stating what you want from Yah. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. There shall be a visitation from Yah of hosts, with thunder, Ra'am, and with earthquake, Ra'ash, and great noise, Kol Gadol, with whirlwind, Sufa, and tempest, Sa'ara, and a flame of devouring fire, Walahab Ish Okela. Brothers and sisters, that's in Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. What are we reading here? There shall be a visitation from Yah of hosts with thunder. And I want to, brothers and sisters, color code this, if we will. Right? Thunder. In the Hebrew, we see here, color code, Ra'am. All right? And with earthquake, we're going to use a different color, if we will. Right? Ra'ash. And great noise. Quol Gadol. And with whirlwind. You see that word a lot in the book of Jeremiah, by the way. The whirlwind, Sufa. You know what a whirlwind is? Cyclone, tornado. The things that they're talking about hitting the earth. And tempest, Sa'ara. Also known as storm, tempest. And the flame of devouring fire. Ish Okla. Ish, fire. Okla, devouring, from akal, which means to eat or to devour. So, brothers and sisters, while this is color-coded, just want that to be shown what we're talking about. In the future, perhaps, we want to go over this verse here in the Hebrew to use it as a way to learn the language better as well. There shall be a visitation from the Lord of hosts. Now, what does host mean? Zabah. Army. His host, his army. And some of the things mentioned is part of his army. The thunder, the earthquake, the great noise, the whirlwind, the tempest, the flame of a devouring fire. All of those as part of his army. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. Part of his army. The fires that you see that go on in this particular case, family. That's over in California. So part of the country is getting hit with fires. Part of the country is getting hit with floods. And part of the country is getting hit with tornadoes, while part of the country is getting hit with earthquakes. Let's go back here and see what we read here. This shall be a visitation from the Most High of hosts, with thunder, earthquake, great noise, whirlwind, tempest, devouring fire. We see what happens when an earthquake can hit. And brothers and sisters, the Most High spoke about visiting the people who worship in this particular matter. No, I'm not playing prophet, brothers and sisters. I'm not trying to say pinpoint this and this and that. But we have to sit back maybe and observe the hand of the Most High and why certain things are happening. The migrant crisis. The Most High can turn one's heart to cause their own destruction. The migrants coming into your stores now, where you thought the said black man, the Akata, the African American, the West Indian is the worst thing. And going in there with hammers and going and breaking into your jewelry thing. I'm 44, thankful to the Most High. When I was 11 years old, brothers and sisters, over 40 years ago, no, over 30 years ago, 44 means 4. 40 years ago, I was 4, but no, I was 11 at this point. There was a man that said me and 3 of my friends could not go into the store at the same time. All 4 of y'all can't come in here at the same time. We are in the 6th grade after school, just wanting to pick up snacks. But we were not allowed to go in there. They made us feel as if we could not be trusted in that. So now your government done sat there and turned on you, and you don't want to even keep stores in the same place where you was making hundreds of thousands. Because now you got people coming in there and they really are stealing. You see, the Most High will show you you. When you're sitting up there thinking, well, we're going to stop it this way, the Most High has something coming another way. That's why you don't want to play with the Most High God. I'm going to make sure this way is covered, and y'all's not going to be able to sit there and deal with it this manner. And so meanwhile, the Most High has his army coming from another particular direction. You don't want the Ashana or the Ashan or the smoke from the Most High God. In the 1980s, brothers and sisters, people swore up and down, we're going to get in a rocket and we're going to go in outer space. And the computer that was supposed to help the other computer was infested with a fly or a moth, and the rocket ship could not sit there and take off. When you watch Star Wars, who are you at war with in the heavens? Who are you making war against in Star Wars? Daniel, the prophet, stated, many shall go to and fro in the earth, and knowledge shall be increased. And knowledge, there's the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you know. So some people have actually developed a higher form of knowledge, but in evil. So we'll create this robot and sit there and then have it go forth. You understand? Proverbs chapter 26 states, if you set a trap for others, you will get caught in it yourself. If you will roll a boulder down on others, it will crush you instead. That's very true. You understand? These are things, brothers and sisters, that we want to point out and bring out for, if we will, edification purposes, family. Hoping and praying that everybody is well and will be better. Isaiah chapter 13. Therefore, I will make the heavens to tremble, and the earth shall be shaken out of her place, for the wrath of Yah of hosts, and for the day of his fierce anger. When that earthquake happened in New York yesterday, I was in Manhattan when it happened. Thankful to the Most High, brother was safe. I'm on the phone at that time with my lady. It's like, oh, they're going earthquake. Well, I got to get off the phone being at work now because people started coming downstairs wondering what's going on. Is everything okay? Will everything be all right? Let's look at Twitter. Let's look at CNN. Supervisor of the job calling me, I ain't going to mention my government, was saying, such and such, let me know what you're going to do. My lady stated something very keen. When the Most High comes, you don't want to be caught unclean. What are you going to do if your connection with the one who created the heavens and the earth is not in a best or good standing, and you're the person they're looking to? What are you talking about, brothers in Israel? Harp! It's going to be Harp! So let me understand this. Harp was used in Manhattan by Madison Square Garden. Harp was used by Grand Central, Times Square, Penn Station, Union Square, Columbus Square. For those who do know Manhattan, I'm talking about everywhere that got hit from 59th Street to 14th Street. Before you get to what they call the Upper West Side, before you get into the hood, aka Harlem, and before you get to where the Black Hispanics are and what they call Washington Heights. I'm speaking particularly about from 59th Street, Columbus Circle area to Union Square, 14th Street. Before you get down to the financial district of Wall Street, south of Fulton by Water Street, which the Most High flooded, say some time ago. There was a mall under one of those buildings. Something Water Street was the name of the street. That mall got permanently closed. Sodom and Gomorrah, the people in Demona will tell you, well, that's where it's at. It can't be built no more. When the Most High comes through, unlike Harp, unlike when they try to make an animal that got wound up instead of 4 legs 5, there is no rebuilding when the Most High says destroy to the end of it. So though Manhattan is still there, that mall that was under there when they called Hurricane Sandy came through is out of commission. I know because I used to work by Broad Street where the J train is at, for those who severely know the directions of New York City. Shut down. Lights out. Blackout. It happened in New York in 1977. It happened in New York in 2003. It happened in New York in 2013. Don't you see the timings of these things are getting closer and closer to each other? 1977, 2003, 2013. The timings is getting closer to each other, and we can see the signs, brothers and sisters. I'm never going to tell someone to not leave the country. I'm not one of the brothers online that say flee Babylon. I'm not going to, because I ain't going to tell you where to flee to, because that's not, you don't say flee and then you ain't got no idea where the people should go. That's just not intelligent. When they left out of Egypt, they knew they was going to the land of Canaan. They didn't know how long it was going to take, but they had a direction, we're going to go there. So my point, brothers and sisters, is when you can see all of that, there is a time for us to really consider the Most High God. In my personal life, just this said past Monday, I went to, after not doing so maybe 20 years, to the grave of where my Ima is. And they gave me some kind of closure. No, brothers and sisters, I did not sit there and go with a candle. I didn't go there and say, Mommy, I want your spirit to come up. No, because that's not what she taught me to do. But if you were to read Joshua, for those who do subscribe to such channel, or such books, should I say, Joshua, it said that when Joseph was being taken into Egypt, right? It said that they crossed over where the grave of his mother was. And he ran toward his mother's grave crying and holding on to it for the memories that he had, say, of his Ima. But what did Joseph tell his brothers? You meant it for evil, but the Most High meant it for good. You might have wanted to do something to hurt somebody, but what you may have not realized was the Most High was delivering him or her from what's going to happen to you. Lauryn Hill stated, you might win some, but you just lost one. The chain of Satan was not made that strong. Until you do right, all you're going to do is go wrong. And I'm not a rapper. Brothers and sisters. But let's continue in this manner. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6 again. There shall be a visitation of the Most High of hosts, with thunder and with earthquake and great noise. And it says with whirlwind and tempest and the flame of a devouring fire. Let's continue. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 35 says this. Thus says Yah, who giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, who stirreth up the sea that the waves thereof roar. Yah Zebaoth Shemo, the Lord of hosts is his name. The Lord of hosts in Isaiah did not change to a different Lord of hosts in Jeremiah, though they were over 50 years apart between prophet and prophet. In the movie Amistad, they used where the direction of the sun was to say, go east back to Africa. The moon is what Harriet Tubman used in the stars for a light by night to say which direction to go. Let us go, brothers and sisters, if we will, into the scriptures. 1 Chronicles chapter 12, brothers and sisters, to let the book speak in this manner. We are in the book of 1 Chronicles chapter 12, brothers and sisters, verse 32. And it says this. And of the children of Issachar, which were men who had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do. The heads of them were 200, and their brethren were at their commandments. What does it mean when it says in the children of Issachar, who were men that had understanding of the times? How the heavens operate. Being able to go and see and read the signs of such things. The Most High stated he has the sun and moon as his witness. Moshe, the prophet Moses, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. We are connected. I got a video that I need to sit there and bring out. And it's not to be racial. Where the white woman said, we had black people as slaves. Check this one out. You ready? Brace yourself. We had black people as slaves, and, they was picking cotton and working in the field, being connected to the earth. A woman in Georgia, speaking about slavery on YouTube, stated that black people were being used to deal with cotton and work in plantations because black people were connected to the earth. That's why you had to go all the way to Liverpool and get ships and then go to Western and Central Africa and then bring people all the way over to the Western Hemisphere, because you're not connected to the earth and you have not a spirit of trade and bartering, but of plundering.
There were accounts of slave masters recordings that when their crops were in grow, they would say that they're being cursed or punished because of the slaves.
Cain. What my lady pointed out, for those who didn't hear, is that there were times in which slave masters stated when the crops didn't grow is because they were being punished of how they were dealing with the people in slavery. I've read, and it's not about me, the Enuma Elish, the Gilgamesh epic, the principles of Ma'at, the Kibra Nagast, the Quran, the New Testament, the Code of Hammurabi, any book outside of the Tanakh, namely outside of the Torah. Brothers and sisters, and none of it can state that their God can do what it states right here. Who gives the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night? Who stirreth up the sea that the waves thereof roar? Yah Sebaot is his name. If these ordinances depart from before me, saith Yah, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus saith Yah, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, then I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yah. So I ask again as before, when you start talking about Star Wars, who are you going to war with in the heavens? Who is NASA that seems to never be defunded, having so much time on their hands? Did they not know, pardon me for coughing, did they not know and read the scriptures here? If you can search out the heavens above and the foundations of the earth beneath, then the Most High will destroy the seed of the house of Israel. Who are the children of Israel? Scattered from one end of the earth to the other, in many cases commonly called minorities, black people, if you will. Correct? So separate the family. Put drugs in here. Make the rent high. Remove the male presence from the household. Now you can tell the girl she can be a boy, and the boy he can be a girl. But what you did not realize, like some of my teachers and some of my brothers and sisters, came into this understanding. Brothers and sisters, still coming out of single parent households. Still coming while their parents were addicted to drugs. Hearing this in the highways and byways. Coming from disease-infested households. And hearing about this understanding about being an Israelite. So maybe because the family structure of ancient Israel, where the man and the woman were together and the children were born not out of wedlock, maybe you thought that will sit there and stop the word of the Most High going to his people. He will make that son or daughter of the crackhead or the coke addict come right into an understanding, learning about who the Most High God is. Going back home and say, "Here, Ma, I can't eat pork no more. Here, Pops, I love you, but I can't accept the name Vincent for the rest of my life." They didn't expect for that to happen because you can't understand the hand of the Most High. They try to bind the Most High like the Egyptian gods are bounded. You understand? Thus saith Yah, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, then will I also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done. Stop right there. You know, there's some people who predicate and mean their lives based on you doing wrong before the Most High God. Well, let you forget what you did. Just, you did it. You was an adulterer, an adulterer, an adulterer. You only know that because I told you that. That's not for you to sit there and remind me. Well, sister, you kind of been out there. Well, Israel was out there and called the harlot. So what makes you think that the Most High can't sit there and call somebody back? Israel worshiping other gods was committing adultery. Jeremiah said Israel got a whore's forehead. You know what a whore is? A harlot. But the Most High is still telling you, wash you, make you clean. Let's go to Joshua chapter 5. So we need to talk the word of Yah and give an honor to the Most High and help build the self-esteem of our brothers and sisters. Let the weak say, I am strong. And let the broken say, I am fixed. Joshua chapter 5, verse 9. When you sit there and think that there is no hope of salvation, let's see what it says here. And Yah said unto Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reports of Egypt from off you. Wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day. The Most High has said what? He rolled the reports of Egypt off of you. So brothers and sisters, in the new Egypt, smack DVDs and World Star that's showing us as decrepit in the 80s, the 70s, and the 90s cannot be our future. The Most High saying he rolled the stone away. He rolled away the reports of Egypt, where you was known as the slave of the earth. The rap group Eric B. and Rakim made a song called that, Slave, and that was the whole chorus of the song in the 80s. That can't be your name no more. You can't be the hand-me-down slave. The Most High, through the prophet Joshua, when they got in their land, he's saying, I have rolled the reproach of Egypt, so you won't be their bondmen. So in this new Egypt, when you find parents saying, I'll be late for work every day before I sit there and let my child be taught in some of these kind of institutions, you're not telling my girl that she can be a boy. And to my relatives, no disrespect, and it's going to get a little raw. I'm not teaching the little princess that you told me to teach, to quote, make sure she maintains a virgin lifestyle, that boys are nasty. I'm not teaching my daughter that boys are nasty. When my daughter found out what a female sodomite was, because they don't want you to say certain L and G words about that kind of lifestyle online, she vomited. You put your mouth on what? And you a woman? Oh no. When she heard about that, her guts just came out, her mother told me. Vomited like, oh, this is despicable. So, brothers and sisters, when you can find our people coming from, in many cases, the drug era of the 70s, because like they pointed out in Menace to Society, and my mother confirmed it, when the guy said, may my mother rest in peace, when the guy said, when the riot stopped, the drug started. That line in that movie, my mother said, yop, yop. For those who remember the movie, Menace to Society, there's a line in there that said, when the riot stopped, the drugs started. My mother was like, yup, like he ain't lying. We are the children of some of that kind of situations. Drug dealers today will tell you they're not the Nicky Barnes, for those who do know what I'm talking about. They're not the Guy Fishers of those who know what I'm talking about. They're not the Frank Lucases who those who know what I'm talking about. They're not the original Rick Ross, for those who do know what I'm talking about. They're not getting it like those guys were then, which is not a bad thing. So now we have to become more interdependent, brothers and sisters. And when the Most High sends his angels, his messengers out, and judgment and things begin to happen, I roll with Amalek. My name is Puffy. I'm Diddy. Nothing to happen to me. Sure, you're right. My name is Candace Owens, and I can sit there and talk about black men being killed by the police because it's their fault. Now I have to go in the Breakfast Club and sing the Will Smith song. Hey, black people, I can sit there and rap now. No, Candace Owens, you sat there and threw the sons of Yisrael under the bus. Bye-bye. You're not invited to any cookout. You disrespected brothers and sisters. Candace Owens was the people, brothers and sisters, that Exodus chapter 5 in the Tanakh talks about. Pharaoh, it's your people that's really the problem. What happened in Exodus 5 that I'm talking about, brothers and sisters? The Israelites that were set over their own people were being beaten on because the brick tally was not made. So from the ancient days to the nowadays, from Omarosa talking about the world is going to bow down to Trump. No, they're not. To you sitting up there saying that Juneteenth is ghetto and is made up. Well, let me explain something, brothers and sisters. All holidays are made up, brothers and sisters. Hanukkah is made up due to an event, oh, brothers and sisters, when you go in Maccabees chapter 4. Purim is a holiday or a set-aside day, because it's not a holy day, that's set aside, man-made. So even as Israelites, we have Purim from the time of Esther, and Hanukkah from the time of the Maccabees, and those days are made up. But to appeal to getting that check, you now find Miss Candace Owens online saying, if you donate. What? They who you sat and you broke bread with have conducted you to the border. And you see exactly what they thought about you. You understand? You dealt with that, and we as a people need to learn from that. Steve Harvey, you up there saying to white people, excuse me, I don't give a damn about slavery. And that's what he said. Then you lost this. And you lost that. You lost this show. You lost that. The Most High God is not dealing with people in today's term called Sambos. Moses killed for his brother. Not, well, things happen, But the mind of the oppressor would not sit back and think maybe that's the case. Shalom and Cozy on the Facebook. Shalom, my brother, Shaw, Benjamin. Shalom, Uziel Yisrael. Shalom to the people in the chat. Shalom, Hebrew boy. Thank you all for participating and coming in. Again, I can be reached at the number you see there, 908-587-4841. So, brothers and sisters, Isaiah chapter 13 says, they that are found joined unto the oppressors of their people shall be thrust through. You'll be the first one to be disposed of. Did you know that? Now, O house of Israel, Kazak Amat, be strong and of good courage. Because what's going to happen, and I'm not playing prophet, and what is happening, brothers and sisters, I'll deal with the matter of the Septuagint and the Masoretic text in a second, before we conclude out. Thank you for that question. Is this. Israel, come together, O nation not desired. Before the decree break forth, before the fierce anger of wrath of Yah break forth. That's in the book of Zephaniah. So if we are the nation that Zephaniah 2 is talking about, come together, O nation not desired. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 49, verse 7. Thank you for that. We're going to read in the scriptures and let the book speak and give an honor to the Most High. Isaiah 49, verse 7 says this. Thus saith Yah, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom men despise, to him whom the nation abhors, to a servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship, because of Yah that is faithful, and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee. Now, that's Isaiah 49, verse 7. Hold your hand there, and let's go to Isaiah chapter 60, verse 9, to let the book speak. Surely the owls shall wake for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yah thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 7, and then Isaiah chapter 60, verse 9. All right, for edification purposes. Thank you for typing that in, my lady Sarai. Let's go back to Isaiah 49, verse 7, line upon line and precept upon precept. Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, meaning the Holy One of Israel, to him whom the men despiseth, to him whom the nation abhors, to a servant of rulers, who is abhorred and despised. And Zephaniah is the same people that Isaiah talks about, Israel. To a servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship, because of Yah that is faithful and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10 goes to say, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I have smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So, brothers and sisters, we can see why, knowing the position and the purpose and the future of the house of Israel, why NASA exists. Remember earlier when we went here, right? And it says here, for Psalms chapter 83, which speaks about the nations wanting to get rid of Israel altogether. For they have consulted together with one consent against thee, do they make a covenant. So what are you doing here worshiping Molech at the Bohemian Grove, nations? What contract, what berit, or what covenant are you being made to be up under? Because you ban the Bible in certain colleges. You ban the teaching of the said Old Testament and even quote religious schools. So what covenant are you being under in this Bohemian Grove meeting and so forth when you're worshiping Molech? So brothers and sisters, and giving honor and praise to the Most High, let's not think that Yah does not know or does not see. We're speaking about the one whom we say regularly, the one who sees all and is not seen. The Most High, Yah, knows how to talk to a person or people for he or she or them to understand. What may be a sign for one person may not be a sign for another. But Yah knows you by spirit as well by nature. Yah knows us by spirit as well by nature. The burning bush may have not meant anything to everybody. Like, oh, it's a bush that's burning. But for Moshe, that was a sign. I have to see what this is about. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to bring out. We're going to read the portion my lady typed in. Thank you for that. We in Psalm chapter 83 from verse 2 to verse 5. So we can gain understanding of what we're talking about. Thank you for that. Psalms 83 verse 2 says this. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee, meaning they who hate the Most High, have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty converse against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate with thee against thee. So, brothers and sisters, these peoples have made a covenant to say, cut the name of Israel off from being a remembrance. Now, I'm not playing prophet. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. Something interesting. Kanye West said that the real Jews are black, which made people be like, we've been saying that about things about us being the Israelites for quite some time now. And some people were starstruck, and some people were like, the truth is getting out to the masses. But not too long after Kanye West stated what he stated, all of a sudden now, you see Beyonce looking like the Egyptian goddess Hathor. So more from what? Of being the true house of Israel, to cut the name of Israel off from remembrance. Kanye West stated that people was in a frenzy. Now, let me bring one of the goddesses of the old Egypt to sit there and pacify the people. The community that you see in the Mona left from the Midwest and other parts of the United States, went to Liberia, say 1967, and went into the Holy Land in 1969. A big movement of said black people leaving the United States to go into the Holy Land before 1970. And then all of a sudden, we see Dr. Clark saying Moses never existed. You see Dr. Ben saying we don't know if the Torah is the truth. And now you have your Osar or Set Egyptian society created in 1973. Already, while we already was going already home in the 60s, to throw us off, to cut the name of Israel off from remembrance. That is strategically done. They have consulted together, brothers and sisters. This is not something, brothers and sisters, that just haphazard. I worked in a place, not going to mention where out of respect, and I was allowed to write on the wall. I didn't just write on the wall because I saw someone else had written it. I was given allowance to do it. So I wrote, brothers and sisters, and I'm going to sit there and show in real time as much as possible, right? As much as possible what was done. Thank you for that. I want to show this, if I can, in as much real time as possible, right? Very rarely, like I stated, do I actually pull up the camera thing, but I want to show. This is a blank sheet of paper here. And I wrote, brothers and sisters, what some would call, if it can be seen, Paleo Hebrew script. And I was allowed to write whatever I wanted to write. And I chose, brothers and sisters, to write that. Somebody from the nations came in, saw that, and when I say steered, this is not about that brother knows how to write different languages. No. There's nobody but African Americans working in that place. Why is ancient Hebrew part on the graffiti in the place where they know only African Americans are working? Who wrote that? Brothers and sisters. To cut the name of Israel off to hide that identity. 1996. You know that there was discovered a church that was talking about having Hebrew written on the benches or the pews or where the people were sitting at? Oh, that doesn't matter. Do you know that as pointed out in past from different Israelite schools, that Hebrew was taught to us in slavery from our own people. And some of the writings, as we saw, was like that. Well, it don't matter. What do you mean it doesn't matter? First, you wasn't even allowed to read or write. That was already deemed illegal. So if you had slaves that was writing in ancient Hebrew in Alabama, let's bring this out, O Yisrael. Get the book, Not to Play Salesman, from Assyria to America so you can see the citations where we're coming from. How are you writing in Hebrew in Alabama in the 1700s? Shh, don't sit there and have that to come out. A brother was young, 15 years old, reading, I don't know what train it was on. I forgot what train it was. Some people can't whisper. Woman from the nations tells her husband, you may as well just said it to me. He's reading Hebrew. As I heard you just say, like, he's reading Hebrew. What are you doing knowing that? We know why you might speak English. We know why you might speak Portuguese if you're from Brazil. We know why you might speak French coming out of, say, from Haiti. We know why you might speak French or Spanish coming from Honduras. But why Hebrew? Why? See, when I was a thief, and my mother, who's I'm always talking about, let me get the receipt. Huh? Why? Because I knew I stole the change. So now I want to know why you want the receipt, because it's evidence that I stole it. Mind you, I was a child then, I don't steal no more. Same point and premise. What are you hiding? Why, during the timing of the Constitution and the commencement that was being done in Pennsylvania in the 1786 and 1787, they were going to make Hebrew the national language of the United States. No knock on brothers who have different understandings. When I was wearing they call so-called the Magen David or the Shield of David or so forth, I'm in high school. The guy's going to sit there and say, oh, you wearing that, you must be either Muslim or Rasta. No, I'm an Israelite. No knock on brothers and sisters' understandings. But you're what? To cut the name of Israel off so it won't be in remembrance. Brothers and sisters who do speak Hebrew, I want to drop something to you. When you say, speaking to the Khazars or the European, converts, if you will, the reason why they don't speak back to you in Hebrew is not because they don't understand nothing. It's because in the Talmud, they say you shouldn't sit there and speak to those who are less than you and they feel you less than them. So don't believe the lie when they come with the story by saying, well, I understand it, but I don't speak it. No, you don't think I should be on your level, and you're wondering, and so therefore you don't want to converse with such. And that's okay. Green Acres Mall. This is during the time of the feast of Booth, or Chag Sukkot, if you will. Working with relative. 3 people who are of, I understand, say the Judaic or the Jewish persuasion. I decided to try something. Shalom, my Shalom Ken. Meaning peace. How are you all? How's your peace? You speak Hebrew? Okay, medaber ani Ibrit. Yes, I speak Hebrew. Ma'atem margishim. How do you feel? You speak Hebrew? Kane. Why do you speak Hebrew? Because they're not going to respond back in Hebrew. They can't even say shalom. Maybe it ain't in them. You tell some, not to be racial, black men and women, good morning. Yeah, that tell me good morning. Okay, maybe you're not having a good morning. Maybe they can't say shalom back to you because they ain't got the shalom in them. Okay, what are we saying in this case? I'm being asked in English, why do I speak Hebrew? Why do you speak Hebrew? So I responded back by saying, Ata sha'altani. You asked me. Lama medaber ani ibrit. Why do I speak Hebrew? Ki raziti. Which means because I want to. I wanted to. And then you talk about it as if I'm not there. He said raziti. This is right there in Green Acres Mall for those who do know where that's at. He said raziti. So, brothers and sisters, from the language to calling the Torah the Old Testament, from us saying we're the children of Israel, it has been crafty converse to sit there and cut the name of Israel off from remembrance. Israelites leaving out of America, going all the way over there to the land of Israel. Then all of a sudden, these black scholars come up, we all Kemet. That's not by chance. Kanye West, with its verse, said the real Jews is black. Then Beyonce starts looking like the Egyptian goddess Hathor. Throw that off what Kanye stated. That's not by chance, brothers and sisters. These nations know this about us. Let's continue, family. Thank you for that. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 35 to 37. Just want to show the sun and the water in the first part, and then the moon and the stars showing it here again in that particular case. The Most High controls these ordinances, not Haarp. So now they think they got the name of Israel out of remembrance. Let them now sit there and try to go against the ordinances of the Most High God. That's what Star Wars is about. Because there's nobody up there that you're fighting. Because there's no body there. You're just fighting against the host of the Most High. That's not in body form. You understand? Let's continue, family. Jeremiah 10, verse 10. But the Lord God is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. At his wrath, the earth trembleth, and the nations are not able to abide his indignation. The nations are not able to abide his indignation. So, brothers and sisters, what do they have to do? Let's pollute the air to try to go and make the host of the Most High not work. Let's pollute the holy people like the Greeks did in the time of the Maccabees. So they, the children of Israel, the people of the Most High, cannot work. These things are part of the crafty counsel that was made against us, family. But Yah Elohim is the true El. But the Lord God is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. See why there's no point in arguing about who is anointed? Because at the end of the day, it's about the Most High. At his wrath, the earth trembleth, and the nations are not able to abide his indignation. Let's continue, family. Psalms 114, and giving honor to the Most High. When Israel came forth out of Egypt, the house of Jacob from a people of strange language. Judah became his sanctuary, Israel his dominion. The sea saw it and fled, the Jordan turned backward. The mountains skipped like rams, the hills like young sheep. What aileth thee, O thou sea that thou fleest? Thou Jordan that thou turnest backward, ye mountains that ye skip like rams, ye hills like young sheep. Tremble, thou earth, at the presence of Yah, at the presence of the God of Jacob, who turned the rock into a pool of water, the flint into a fountain of waters. Do you know, by them, on a human level, as the saying will go, making war against Israel, they are on a greater level making war against the Most High? Brothers and sisters, Tacitus of Rome, a historian, spoke about the Israelites in history. Even mentioned Simon Maccabeus by name. Misha, king of Moab, mentioned the tribe of Gad and the men of the Israelites. Shalmaneser III, king of Assyria. You always talk about Assyria. Okay. Shalmaneser III, king of Assyria, spoke about King Ahab and the Israelites. Tiglath-Pileser III of Assyria talked about Pekah, the king of Israel. Different sources from different nations in antiquity or in history that speak of the Israelites. What's the point in mentioning that and giving honor to the Most High? There is no mother or father on earth that named their children or son or child Yisrael. Did you know that? Isaac didn't name Esau's brother Yisrael. He named him Yaakov, Jacob. So the fact that you have kings of other nations mentioning Israel, where did that come from? If no man or woman on earth named their child, which became a nation, Yisrael. The existence of Yisrael shows the existence of the Most High God, Yah. Because it's Yah that changed Isaac's son's name, Jacob, to Israel. So by wanting to get rid of the name Yisrael, you are on a greater level wanting to make war with the Most High Yah. There is, brothers and sisters, no mother or father that named in antiquity their child Yisrael that wound up becoming the nation of Israel. Isaac and Rebekah named their child, their second boy, Jacob, Yaakov. His name later on was changed to Yisrael. So the fact that you find Yisrael written inside of testimonies of other nations, from Shalmaneser III all the way down to Tacitus of Rome, shows that Yah exists. The only nation that was called as such by the Most High. One of the only two nations in antiquity that mentions the Most High in their name. Yishmael, God will hear, and Yisrael, the Most High will prevail. So there's a light for you, my brothers and sisters, our people. Our existence shows the Most High God's existence. We have to be the priests that Exodus talks about. Let's continue, family. Excerpt from the book as we close out. Thank you, family, for participating in. The wind blowing, the sea dividing into parts. They pass over the Hebrews' fleet into the sea. As we get closer to Passover, let's get into this. The sea is turned into dry land. The waters permitted and dismissed to flow. Burst, rushing unawares upon the astonished men. Congregated from quarters, banded together to slay treacherously, being lifted up with pride. Their leader divided for sunder the sea, its waves roaring. The people enter, they pass through the midst of the waters. Moses caused the people to haste like a fleet wing, see ostrich crying aloud. The Clouds shining bright. A mighty army propelled into the Red Sea is gathering into one. They go jumping and skipping, journeying through the open channel, taking flight from the face of the enemy. The surge of the sea is divided. The people flee. The tribes descend into the deep. The people enter the waters. The people enter and penetrate through the midst. The people are filled with stupor and perturbation. Yahweh is the keeper of the companion. The enemies weep for the dead. The virgins are wailing. The sea flowing down and overwhelmed them. The waters were let loose to flow again. The people depart fugitive. A mighty army is submerged in the deep sea, the only way of escape for the congregated people. This is from the Sinaitic inscription found in the biblical land of Dovka, talking about the Exodus. I've cited this in my book, Egypt Took and Writing, which this week made 8 years since publication. Glory to the Most High. So you have the Serabit El Kadim, the Wadi El Mukatab, as it's called in Arabic. But what the Sinaitic inscription is saying in translation is speaking of the Exodus. Like we showed the thing with the Mount Sinai. Yah, Chai, the Most High does exist. And the nations know it. Let's continue, family. Job 26, verse 7. I'm not saying whether earth is flat or round. That's just a picture that I just used in that. I'm not going to, it's flat, it's round. We're not doing that. But let's read what the book states, brothers and sisters. He stretches out the north over empty space and hangs the earth upon nothing. That's power. How you have the earth just hang on nothing? So you can sit there and try to search the foundations of the earth, but the earth hangs on nothing. So there will never be an end of the house of Israel when we read in Jeremiah. This is one of the scriptures that scared me. Hangs the earth on nothing. That's power. If the Most High controls the ordinances of the sun, the moon, and the stars, so they'll say, in 1,000,000 years or so, the sun will just give away. By then, we'll all be dead. So they already have, in their thoughts, X amount of hundreds of thousands or million years that Israel won't be in existence. That's how hard the hatred is for us. To where you're talking about where your grandchildren are already dead, but your hope is still there. That Israel won't be here either. That's a hatred. That's a hatred. Because the Most High said if he controlled the sun, the moon, and stars in Jeremiah, then Israel will be here forever. But you're already saying in your science thing that the sun will just burn out. So that means the Most High don't have control over it if it's burnt out. So you're already trying to make a prophecy of saying that Israel won't be in here, even though you know your grandchildren is not going to be here in 1,000,000 years. That's hatred, brothers and sisters. Let's look at this. This is not to show me and my lady, but just want to show this is us in Egypt on the left side, and this is us in Costa Rica on the right side. Who made this? Who made that canyon with all of those beautiful trees? Who made the earth that the pyramid of Giza is on? Yah. So man is fascinated that you can sit there and plant something in the earth the Most High already made. Man is amazed you can take this piece of stone and put it on top of this stone. But the Most High already made the earth that the dust is on and that the trees grow from Egypt to Costa Rica and back and forth. So man, human, you ain't create nothing new. Let's continue, family. Who made this? This is us when we was at the water in Manhattan, and this is us in New York, and this is us when we was over by the water in Egypt. Who made that? Was the Most High God, the creator, the maker of heaven and earth. He made the water. He made the plants. He made the dust of the earth. You, man, was made from the things by the Most High using what he made to make you. Humble yourself, O ye nations. Because as it says in Jeremiah, you cannot endure his indignation. In closing this out and giving honor to the Most High, we hope and pray that everyone is well and will be better. There is no way that a man-made device can take the place of the work of the Most High. So, brothers and sisters, Haarp, it does exist. It didn't come to its existence until the 1990s. But we've already shown, brothers and sisters, earthquakes existed before then, tornadoes existed before then, cyclones existed before then, hurricanes existed before then, snowstorms existed before then. So it's not Haarp, it's Yah. And what we need to do is get on the side of the Most High and give an honor and praise unto Yah. Hopefully all is well. Hopefully we are well. We all are well and will be better. I can be reached at 908-587-4841, asking you to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Most High bless. Shalom. I was asked, is the Septuagint better than the Masoretic text given the fact it predates it centuries earlier? The English is what you're asking me in that particular case, Hebrew boy. And I feel funny calling you that, thinking you're my elder, but that's the name that you chose to put online. So when I say Hebrew boy, I don't want no one, you or anyone else to think I'm calling you a boy. But okay, what I'm asking is, when you ask, is the Septuagint better than the Masoretic text, given the fact that predates it centuries earlier? Are you speaking of the English translation that we see in the Septuagint, or the English translation we see in the Masoretic text? That is my question to you about that question. Kane, if you can let me know, when you say, oh, you were asking which translation is better, are you talking about the English of the Masoretic text or the English of the Septuagint? Okay, I'm going to give my number in here, and you can reach out to me so we can talk about this. 908-587-4841. The Septuagint was written in Greek. The Masoretic text is a consistent Hebrew document that we have with the said Old Testament. So it would have to therefore be the Masoretic text in that light. But I'm asking, are you speaking about from the English translation of each, or the Greek of the Septuagint, or the matter of the Hebrew from the Masoretic text? All right, you saying you're young and I'm young English and original. Okay. Well, you got my number if you care to reach out. Hopefully I answered your question. And with that, thank you for the time, family. Subscribe to the channel. Shalom.